Hi, how are you? This is Ina Waibire, secondary mortgage market, what you always wanted to know. Today, I want to talk about adjustable rate mortgages, ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, ARM. Before we get started, this recording is for training and illustrative purposes only, and it's based on my experience and opinion. Your circumstances may require a different approach. So let's talk about ARMs. What are ARMs? Um, uh, what features does this product typically have, and what does all this vocabulary and features of ARMs mean? To aid with that, I'm going to share my screen with you just to show you some examples of features on ARMs, and then we can kind of speak to the different parameters of the ARMs and what do they all mean. So here you can see a possible layout for an originator. You can see a stack of different type of ARMs here. Again, ARM stands for adjustable rate mortgage, 3.6, 5.6, 7.6, 10.6. And then you have various caps, a margin, index, and an indicative rate. Again, this rate is not any specific rate that's being quoted. It's just an indication here. And for this exercise, I've actually grabbed today's 30-day average SOFR rate, which as of today, it's at 5.325. But we'll talk about that. So what does that mean? What does it mean to have an adjustable rate mortgage as compared to a fixed rate mortgage? So a fixed rate mortgage typically is a 10, 15-year, 20-year, 25-year, 30-year fixed rate term loan. So you get a fixed rate mortgage and you have a rate on it. Let's say it's 7% today. At that rate, for 30 years, if that's a 30-year mortgage that you have, every single year, that is the rate that you're going to pay on that mortgage for the use of that money. An adjustable rate mortgage is by definition adjustable, meaning it's not fixed over the period or over the life of the loan. It is actually adjusts as time passes, as you start paying on that mortgage, right? As you, as a borrower, close on that mortgage. So the table that you're looking at here technically is really a hybrid, not a strict ARM. An adjustable rate mortgage is a mortgage that changes every single year. This is a hybrid ARM table. And what it means is just like a hybrid vehicle that can go on gas or on electricity, a hybrid ARM is part fixed, part adjustable. The part that's fixed is the first equation that you see here. I'm going to use this line here today as the main example, okay? So the part that's fixed is the three. Three, that's the part that's fixed. For the first 3 years of this mortgage, you're going to pay the indicative rate that is stated on your note. So let's say on your note, it says 6.125. So for 3 years, that's going to be your annual percentage rate. That rate is fixed for that first number on that arm. So for example, on the 7.6 arms, that fixed period is 7. So for 7 years, that rate is going to be fixed at the note rate of 7. Okay, fair enough. That's the fixed portion of that hybrid. What's the variable, adjustable portion of that hybrid? That's where that second part of the name comes in, 6. What does 6 mean? 6 means 6 months. For 3 years, this arm is going to have a fixed rate, and every 6 months after that, it's going to have a rate that's going to change based on the market condition, specifically based on index that this arm is tied to. So an arm has a fixed period, as we discussed, it has a variable period. So for the first fixed portion, it's that one rate. As soon as that portion is over, that rate starts to adjust. How do we determine what does that new rate looks like? Well, that new rate after the expiration of 3 years, in our case, right, is index plus margin. That's how you're going to determine a rate on that arm after that fixed period is over. So it's going to be index, which in our case, it's a 30-day average SOFR, okay? Right now, let's say, for example, right now, those 3 years just expired. I need to now tell you what your rate is going to be. It's going to be SOFR for today, which is for today is 5.325 plus a margin, okay? So let's say it's going to be today, if we were to reset it today, that rate would be 8.075, all right? Which is significantly higher than the rate of 6 1/8. But that's because that is what the average SOFR rate is, okay? So again, if that arm were to reset right now, that would be the rate, which would be the index value for the day plus the margin on that product. And the margin on this product is 2 3/4. So you can see I'm just summing those two up together and I get roughly 8% interest rate. So, okay, what does it mean? All the caps, the initial cap, the subsequent cap, and the lifetime cap. What do those numbers mean? So the initial cap is the maximum percentage points by how much your rate can change by. So right now we're at 6 1/8, and the initial cap is 2, which means that we cannot have the first change be more than 8 1/8, right? 6 1/8 plus 2 would be 8 1/8 would be max. You cannot go higher that first time, okay? Subsequent cap means every single time after that first change, your rate cannot be higher than more than 1 point than the current rate that you have. So let's say, for example, here you have 8, and next time that calculation in 6 months is, let's say, 10%. You cannot do that. It can only be 9.075 because it cannot be higher than 1% ever after that. So every single time after that, it cannot be more than 1% increase in rate. Lifetime cap means this is in totality of all the changes. Again, starting with the rate of 6 1/8, your rate on this mortgage during its lifetime cannot be higher than 11 1/8. Why do I say 11 1/8? Because 5 is the max increase. So 11 1/8 is the highest the rate can be on this product. So that's how the caps work. Initial one is max for the first time, subsequent is max each time thereafter, and the lifetime cap is in totality what's the highest it can ever be, and it cannot be higher than that at any point. Now, one can look at this rate and say, this is a horrible rate. Why would you want to sign up for that 3-year arm? So the reason why someone may decide to go for that is because of several things. First of all, this rate is typically lower than, let's say, a 30-year mortgage, right? Let's say right now, a 30-year mortgage would be somewhere around 6 7/8, 7%. Well, you can get a lower rate for 3 years. And what if you plan on only staying in the house for 3 years? And as you know, if you sell this house and buy another house, you cannot keep this mortgage. You would have to refinance anyways. So for your purpose, that arm may work very well. So these are some of the circumstances when an arm may actually be a really good idea, when it's an interim type of situation, when you don't believe you will stay in the house longer than 5, 7, or 10 years. So that's one of the reasons why one may decide to go with an arm, even though it's not as stable of a situation, if you will, right? Because when you sign up for a fixed, you have 7% for 30 years. You don't have to worry about anything. Another reason is, as you can see, this 8% adjusted rate is based on today's SOFR of 5.3.2%. What if you are of the opinion that in the next year or two, rates are going to fall significantly or definitely fall, and you think that it's going to fall 1 or 2 percentage points? Well, then that number here in the next 3 years may actually be even lower than the 6%, right? Because it's, again, the margin. Margin is the amount by how much your rate is changed on top of SOFR during each adjustment period. So, if this rate is like 4% or 3%, then you may not be in such a bad circumstance in 3 years when you're actually adjusting that rate. You may also choose that rate because right now this is a more affordable rate for you for the next 3 years, and you're expecting that your circumstances are going to be a lot better, and then you could potentially refinance it into another product. So those are some of the reasons why, I'm sorry for my dog. These are some of the reasons why one might decide to choose an ARM product. So hopefully you found this useful, and please let me know if you have any questions, and we'll be able to provide some additional explanation here. Again, if you found this content useful, please share it with us, with others who may also benefit from it. And lastly, if you have any ideas or any questions that you would like for me to develop into a training video, please let me know, and I will record it for you. And till next time, and speak with you soon. Thank you.